Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the Monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she's not co-hosting Ringside Society, she goes on crazy misadventures such as shopping for DeLoreans, looking for the fabled Cobra Kai dojo, and picking fights with random people while dressed up as one of the Road Warriors. Louisiana's own Kathy Knight.
And he's gone again. Oh boy.
Just a few technical difficulties.
We had a bit of
there he is.
Technical difficulty there. That had a bit of a technical difficulty there. Kathy, I got your intro, right?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Hey, live TV people, or live stream. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a woman who actually took part in the Sherri Martel Classic this year, the first ever one actually. Brought to you by Reality of Wrestling, and she'll be in the Rise of the Vixens Part 3 in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome to the show. A woman who is a diamond in a rhinestone world. Beautiful Brutality Sheeva.
Woo!
Thank you.
And he's gone again.
Yeah, still some technical difficulties.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Oh, there's two of them. There he is.
All right, did I get that intro? Did I get everybody's intro?
Yeah.
Yep. It cuts off in the right places.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I know I normally don't do this. For listening, I apologize. People, the monkeys over at the about this Wi-Fi. Anytime, Kathy, go ahead. When I come back, I'll just chime in and whatever. But I'm gonna step away for a bit. Those of y'all, Kathy started off. I got somebody.
All right. What's up, Sheeva?
Hi.
How's Sunday going?
It's going. It's just a lazy Sunday.
Cool deal. Yeah, me too. So I guess I'll wait for Remy for his questions. He usually asks like, what made you want to be a wrestler? How'd you get into wrestling? That kind of thing. But I guess I'll start off with my questions. So you had an injury that you just came back from. You've been gone from the wrestling scene for 4 years now. What happened?
So I actually had an incident. There was a hole in the ring, which normally we walk the rings to make sure that there aren't any divots or anything, and I had tore my quad. Didn't seem like much, all of that, and was still having lingering pain, and even with rehab and everything, ended up going back to my orthopedic surgeon and had done some x-rays, and he's looking at my knee going, this looks pretty rough. And several years back, it was actually, it was March 3rd, 2013. I was in a really bad car accident. Lady wasn't paying attention, was on her phone. It was sleeting outside. She had actually hydroplaned in front of me while we were going 70 miles an hour. So I actually T-boned her. She was luckily okay. I was had the workup, everything seemed fine, you know, all of that. But turns out that the impact from that car accident caused severe damage to the meniscus. But it never really bothered me. It never showed anything with that knee. And what had happened was I was bone on bone and wore down completely. Had bone spurs, things like that. The meniscus was shot. And so because of that, we tried to salvage what we could of my knee. And unfortunately, you know, I do have an amazing surgeon. However, after 3 surgeries, it just ended up being, I went for a partial knee replacement. And, you know, he was very adamant about the fact of the short lifespan of it, considering at the time my weight, my physical, you know, the fact that I tore my quad and I was still going through that. And he was really worried that at the time, if I had gotten back into wrestling, I would cause more damage than good. And because of that, I stayed away, got really depressed, gained a bunch of weight. And then after some life situations, you know, you just kind of have to like step forward and make a change. And when I made that change, I became better. I felt better. I didn't hurt anymore. I went to my orthopedic doctor and had a really long sit down with him. And he looked at me. He was like, "You look amazing. You're doing great." Checked out all of my hardware. He's like, you're on target. You're fantastic. Your hardware looks great. He goes, "I see no issues with you getting back in the ring." So
that's awesome. So the knee injury and the quad, that was on the same leg?
Yeah. So
man.
Yeah. That's the quad is what actually found the knee injury.
Oh wow.
And just because of the instability of the quad, it caused a lot more how do I word it? Reliability on my knee, because I'm not relying on the muscle anymore. I'm relying on the joint. And that's when everything kind of spiraled out.
Wow, that's pretty rough. Did your other leg have to compensate for the injured one? Like, did
So,
you put a lot more weight on that one?
I did for a while. Yeah. It was, I was very lucky after the knee replacement. They actually want you to bear weight. But those first 3 surgeries going through, they tried everything. We tried stem cell. We tried what they call a microfracture. So they drilled a bunch of holes into the bone, trying to pour that marrow out. And, you know, there was cleanup and, you know, it's a rough ride. I won't even pretend like I'm some super strong woman, because there were many nights that I ugly cried myself to sleep because I was in agonizing pain. It really did suck.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That sounds pretty rough.
A little bit, yeah.
So I started going to road shows in about 2019, and recently I started seeing you there at the shows, and I didn't even know you were a wrestler. So like, you know, backstage, not backstage, but like after the shows, we would talk and stuff like that. But what were you thinking, like when you were at the shows? Like, you knew you were making a comeback. Like, what was going in your mind? Like, I'm gonna be in that ring pretty soon.
You know, being at reality wrestling is unlike any other promotion around. They have an amazing setup. They have top-notch talent that goes out there. And so watching everybody go out there, give their A game, you know, they're putting on a performance. It's a TV show. It really is. And so a lot of it was studying, watching everybody, seeing what they're doing, reminding myself what it is and what it takes. But at the point in which I had made my final decision, hey, I'm going to come back. This is what I want to do. A lot of it was I was just there to watch the show because I do love wrestling. It's not just, hey, I'm a wrestler. It's in my bones, man. Like, it's in my soul. So, once that decision was made, that it was like, all right, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. It became, from an enjoyment standpoint, which it still continued to be one, but it also became more of a, all right, so what's out there? What am I up against? What am I going to be stepping in the ring with? How is the evolution of wrestling changed? Like, what am I going to be looking for in terms of fan engagement? What is it that I need to do in my move sets that it's going to stand me, make me stand out to everyone else? And looks like we got more people jumping on. Yeah, like I said, I was a fan, just like everybody else, no different. And then it turned and morphed into, hey, this is my life, man. This is what I want to do. And I'm studying and I'm learning and I'm embracing and going from there.
So what was like the time frame where you got cleared from the doctor, and then you got into, you said you wanted to come back, and then you got put into the Sherri Martel Classic? Like, how many months or years was that in between?
That was actually, I was actually asked to join the Classic before I made my final decision.
Oh, wow.
I had already been training for several months. And once I had decided, hey, you know what, this has been on my mind. I knew I was coming back. I just didn't know how soon. I didn't know if it was going to be 6 months, 6 years, who knows. With that, it was one of those, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. And I'm going to buckle down and I'm going to get in there and I'm going to train and I'm going to bust my butt and I'm going to be the best person that I can be. And that's essentially what I did. It was a blessing in disguise when the Sherri Classic was originally scheduled for Mania weekend. I was on the opposite side of the bracket from reality. And when that was canceled, it gave me the opportunity to continue to train. I spent several weeks down in Houston, training 4 or 5 days a week. Very exhausting. So, it was worth it in the end.
Well, it looked like you didn't miss a beat, because I was actually there. As you know, we sponsored you for the Sherri Martel Classic, and it was like, what a better way to, have your comeback than to have us sponsor you.
Yes,
So,
and thank you.
Yeah. So you kicked butt. You made it to the semifinals. You had your first round one match, which is actually it's airing on Rose's YouTube channel like right now as we speak.
Yeah.
You versus Misty Marks.
Yes.
And I guess I can start calling you the mosquito killer now, because
yes, I saved her life. It's okay.
You slapped her so hard it hurt me. I was like, oh man. But yeah, you didn't skip a beat. You beat her in the first round, and then you made it to the semifinals against Rachel Rose and Hyon, which is no easy task, but you almost had them. Of course, Hyon went to win everything else. It was Hyon and Promise Braxton in the finals.
Correct.
But you did pretty good for your comeback. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, obviously, the goal is to win. Hyon and Kelly definitely did show that they have grown and evolved over the last 4 years that I was out. It's not necessarily a matter of underestimating, but overestimating what I was capable of. And so because of that, I missed that mark to break up that final pin at the end. I was on my way back into the ring, but I mean, I won't lie. The bend the knee, as Kelly's finisher, Rachel Rose's finisher is, it is no joke.
Yeah, definitely. It's a cool full circle story too, like that you had to wrestle Rachel and Hyon in the finals, because you're no stranger to Hyon. You wrestled her in the past. And Kelly, or Rachel, was actually a referee when you were wrestling about 4 years ago. There was a match, Ladies Night Out 2 against Jenna Lynn. She refereed that match for you, with you in it. So
Mm-hmm.
no stranger to both women. So that was a pretty cool, full circle moment. The moment you come back to wrestle again, it's
Yeah,
two familiar faces.
exactly. Yeah, it was definitely, I will be completely honest. They call Hayan the Renaissance woman, and the amount of growth that she has had over the last 4 years has been astronomical. Um, she is honestly probably one of the top talent around in the U.S. available. She's very gifted in what she does. And Rachel Rose, yes, she was a ref. She has reffed a few of my matches. And I made that reference too, going, like the last time I was in the ring with you, you were my referee. You weren't even a wrestler. So, just the amount of growth she's had from the time that she was training and she was a ref to now, I mean, tenfold. This woman has been working her tail end off, for sure.
Yeah, they both have. Hyon's been in Japan and Great Britain and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And yeah, Rachel's come into her own. I remember seeing her at Row of the Rise like 3 years ago. She was kind of like a beautician character, and she's like, "Don't mess up my hair." And then now, I'm bending the knee to her at shows. So
Right.
she's been in WWE and AEW and Impact all this year, so that's pretty cool too.
Yes, for sure.
So we got a question from Bobby. He says, "Who's your dream opponent at Mission Pro Wrestling?"
At Mission Pro, I've looked at the roster. I am actually very much a fan of a lot of the people that are out there. I will be honest, of everyone, um, I would have to have Holly Dead. I've never had the opportunity to work her. I have worked her former tag partner, Thunder Rosa, currently the AEW Women's Champ, and she's no joke. Anybody who wants to tell you, oh, wrestling's fake or whatever, I had an hour-long match with that woman. An hour. It was 2 out of 3 falls, mixed tag, and it was basically Texas tornado style. So everybody was doing something for an hour. The next day, I was crippled. I was literally covered from head to toe in bruises. She's no joke. She's pure fire. She deserved that championship she has. But going back to the question, Holly Dead, she's an excellent opponent. I've met her on several different occasions, never had the opportunity to be in the ring with her. And I think it would be a spitfire match for sure.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see. And yeah, you mentioned Thunder Rosa. That must have been a chop fest of a match because you chop pretty hard. She chops pretty hard.
Yeah, she's no joke. I'm telling you what.
Yeah. So I was looking on. They have this website. It's like cagematch.net, and it shows like people's matches.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about, you mentioned Thunder Rosa. We mentioned Hyon before, and Rachel Rose. You've also fought Kylie Ray. You've been in either fought or tag teamed with all these people. Kylie Ray, T Ray,
Yes.
which I saw you want T Ray again.
I want T Ray again. Let's go. I want T Ray again.
Maybe he's having a pool party wrestling show in June, I believe. So maybe he might invite you to it. So
maybe, yeah,
that might be his opponent. Maybe, who knows?
I mean, he's having a pool party. That he's going to be having a drink in one hand and a floaty in the other.
And then you've also wrestled Jenna Lynn. Chelsea
Mm-hmm.
Green was another one, and
Yes.
Baby D before she retired. I found one that was pretty interesting. It said Doink the Clown. You wrestled Doink the Clown?
I have wrestled Doink the Clown before he passed. Matt Bourne was a really awesome guy. I'm very much an intergender wrestler. My size makes it a little interesting. because of the fact that I size up with the men and I do with the women. I'm a female, so like that's my division. So yeah, Doink the Clown was definitely fun. I wrestled him, luckily a few times, and came out on top a couple times, lost a few others. I was in a battle royale with him. He's the one who put me over the top rope. So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrestle as Sheeva now, but you used to be
Mm-hmm.
Kyra Maya. So where did Kyra Maya come from, and where did Sheeva come from?
So
that was you?
Yeah, that's her, Kyra Maya.
Wow. It's funny because I remember I was on Reality Check Radio when I used to book for them. Shout out to my boy George Alonso, and he was like, "Yeah, we're having Kyra Maya on the show," and I'm like, "I've seen the name before. I had no idea that was you. That's cool."
So the name change actually came from Booker T. So he felt like my name, Kira Maya, as you could see, 3 different pronunciations. It makes it a little difficult. And so because of that, he felt like I needed something stronger for my persona. And he was like, "Hey, what do you think about Sheeva?" And I was like, "I'm down. I love Mortal Kombat. Are you kidding me?" Like, and the Beautiful Brutality, it all works together. It blends. It's perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
I knew it had something to do with that video game. I was
about to ask that, but I was like, was Booker T's a Mortal Kombat fan?
As for the origin of what Booker T came up with, it could have been a video game, it could have been a movie, it could have been he was watching something like, yeah. So it's all good.
I believe there's in the Hindu religion, there's a goddess deity that's named Shiva. I could be wrong, people. Please, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I believe there is either a goddess or a deity named Shiva in the Hindu religion, Hindu folklore / mythology. Not situation, but the folklore mythology. I think there's a goddess named Shiva. So it's either way, it's a pretty powerful name.
It's the goddess of destruction. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Which works for me. So.
Yeah, Beautiful Brutality works too, because I like I said, I got to see you at the Sherri Martel Classic, and you're pretty powerful, and it's pretty to see. So it's pretty to watch you wrestle. I'll say that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So we just mentioned you called out T-Ray, but there's somebody else on your hit list too. Edge Stone.
Called
him out too. So what's going on there?
Let me tell you. Okay. All right. This Edge Stone guy has been giving me grief for months. And it's frowned upon to hit people in the face, out in public, because then you get like tickets and you get arrested and things like that. So the only logical state is to do it in the ring and let him taste the bottom of my boot.
Ooh, ouch. He must have pissed you off royally, huh?
We do have a mutual respect for one another, but he does know how to rub me the wrong way.
Oof. I wouldn't want to be in Edgestone shoes right now. So you have an upcoming match. It's a mixed tag, which Rise of the Vixens 3 for VWR, Vixens Wrestling Revolution, and it's on May 28th. And it's the first time since they changed into an all-women's promotion that it's going to be a mixed tag match. And it's you and Ryan Davidson versus Promise Braxton and Jay Alexander. So what are you looking forward to for that match?
There's a couple different things that I'm looking forward to. One, it's my second match back. So that's exciting in itself. Well, I say second match. Let me say second show, because realistically, it'll be the third match. And so that'll be a singles match, a triple threat, and now into a tag. Realistically, it's no secret Ryan Davidson and I are together. So the opportunity to work together is pretty amazing. He's been one of my closest confidants. He's been there since day one. He's helped me train. He's absolutely amazing. And that is in no way all, because if anybody's had the opportunity to watch him wrestle, you will know hands down that he is one of the best of the best. And it's an absolute shame that he's not signed at this point. But I have a feeling that'll be coming hopefully in the near future. And, you know, he's a world travel wrestler as well. He's been to Canada. He's been to Japan. He spent a very long time in Japan. So, you know, that part is one of the coolest aspects of it. And, you know, we have a very similar, personalities overall. That's why we blend so well, or at least I believe. And also with that, with our personalities being similar, our wrestling is very similar. So we have very similar movesets. We have different things that mesh very well that I believe will be something very fun to watch. As for our opponents, I've never had the opportunity to face either one, Jay Alexander or Promise. Promise is a phenomenal wrestler. She's been up in her own. She was the 2020 Wrestler of the Year for Reality of Wrestling. She currently holds the title for Texoma Pro. And, you know, the Texoma Pro is actually, you know, I was the first women's champion there. So, you know, the people that get the opportunity to go for that title are not just run of the mill whoever. They want the best of the best. And so that definitely sparks my interest of going, all right, who's this chick and what she got to offer? And Jay Alexander, you know, he's classified as the Texas Terminator. We brought up my names earlier. My very first gimmick as a wrestler was Sarah Connor. So it goes right on there. And so, you know, they say imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So there you go.
It's like the 6 stages of Sheeva instead of Kevin Bacon.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Texoma was your old stomping ground, so that's pretty cool. It's like old school, new school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we love the bear and the final boss and Davidson Drip. He's got all these names. We love Ryan Davidson around these parts. So tell him hi for us. And so speaking of, if it's not too personal, how did you guys meet? I'm assuming through wrestling.
We did meet through wrestling. We actually met several years ago. We've been very close friends. So we originally met back in 2007. We met at a PCW show up in Arlington. Since then, we, you know, his life, my life, he went to over to Houston because he started with Booker T. And then, you know, I stayed in the DFW Metroplex. Back then, wrestling was way different. There were classified as territories, and it got ugly in some ways. In others, it was beneficial because it allowed a lot of people to realize how toxic things were. And that allowed for a change and basically the evolution of what you see in Texas wrestling. But we kind of like rekindled our friendship in 2013, and it hasn't really gone away since. Well, it might have been 2012, somewhere in there. But yeah, so yeah, it was 2012. I apologize. But yeah, our friendship kind of blossomed. We came really close. He was there through, you know, my surgeries. You know, he was contacting me every day while I was in Japan, or while he was in Japan. And, you know, it just turned into one of those ordeals that it was like, why are we dating? Like, why don't we try this? Like, what are we doing? And then when it came out, everybody's like, it's about time. Because, you know, it's a unique situation. It's not like, hey, you know, oh, you're pretty cute. Hey, you're pretty cute. You want to date? No, we just tiptoed around it, you know, for the last 15 years. It's cool.
Well, friends first make the best relationships, I think.
Yeah.
And you two are pretty cool apart. You're cool together, so it works.
Well, thank you.
So there was a one mysterious Q's birthday Friday, and you guys were at the birthday party, and I guess it was like a surprise party for him because he tweeted something about all these people broke into my house.
Yes, it was a surprise birthday. His wonderful girlfriend, Meg, hit us up and was like, hey, we want to do something special for him. And so that's what we did. We had a very special surprise birthday for Q. It was a lot of laughs, a lot of wrestling, watching, having a good old time. Some sports was on, and good food, good people. That's all that matters.
Can't ask for better than that. And by the way, happy birthday, Mysterious Q. Even though I told him like 3 times. Tell him again, happy birthday. All right, so if Remy's stable enough, we'll let him go through his questions. But it was a pleasure to talk to you again, and I'm sure I will see you at all the shows that I will go to, well, most of them anyway. It's always fun talking to you after the show. And I'll turn it over to Remy.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Kathy, please don't be asking this woman no personal questions about how she met her partner. You're going to get us in trouble. If Ryan Davidson comes on this show and comes after me, I'm going to run behind you. I'm going to give him your address so he can come and see you. You know that man scares me. You know I'm shook every time I see him on TV. Why would you do that? Gosh. Sheeva, you see what I got to put up with?
Me and Ryan are cool. He doesn't mind.
I assure you, Ryan doesn't care at all.
Yeah, Ed. See, she said. I said if it was too personal, not to answer it. So she answered it. So there you go.
It's no secret, guys. It really isn't.
This woman does so. First, she lets Roxy kick her in the shins. We almost got to pay hospital bills for her because then I was like, "Oh, my leg is hurting me." And then she wants Thunder Rosa to chop her. Like, Kathy, you're gonna run us broke, man. We're barely afloat.
Well, you might as well add.
That's what
me, Insidious and I are supposed to have a cage match at some point.
Oh.
And Paige wants to fight me in Target. So I mean, I'm sorry. Hey, you say I have crazy misadventures. That's those crazy misadventures. Go ahead, Remy.
Kathy, I don't know if you have a bump card, but yeah, enjoy that. But Sheeva, first of all, I apologize for earlier. I'm actually not. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not actually broadcasting from my regular place in New York. I'm actually here in Gainesville, Florida, and I think this is the last time I'll ever be here. But I'm that's just because I'm a city boy. But I apologize for earlier with the connectivity and whatnot. I just gotta say, first off, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. We really and truly do enjoy talking to wrestlers, especially from Texas. Kathy always gets excited. She's like, "Who do you have? Who do you have? I know that person." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, Kathy, it's all yours, man. I mean, we'll have them whenever you're off work and so on." And yeah, but I just gotta say, I heard about your journey, about you actually, having to step back from professional wrestling. And if you haven't heard this before, if you've heard this a millionth time, well, you're gonna hear it from us for the first time or for the millionth time. Congratulations on overcoming it and making your return, and also taking part in the inaugural Sherri Martel Classic. I know it was probably tough, being on the sidelines. I've been there too, not in wrestling, but in other endeavors that I've had, where you've had to take a step back. But meanwhile,
Yes, we lost them again.
We did. I know what he's saying. I do appreciate it. It is rough for sure. And, it is definitely appreciated. It is, you know, when anybody kind of goes through certain situations, whether it's an injury, life changes, family, it doesn't matter. It's all hard. And, you know, I respect anybody that can do that. So, you know, as much as I do appreciate people coming forward and being like, hey, we're really proud of you. And it's like, oh, thanks. Thanks. But, you know, at the same time, you know, you just gotta step forward and you either pursue and move forward from everything and you try to be your best, or you can just simply give up. And I'm not a person to give up. So.
Yeah, I saw some of your posts. You said, yeah, well, just on the podcast just now too, you said you had a lot of bad nights and, you know, having to go through a lot, you know, injuries and stuff, and to have a comeback, it's pretty cool. Like, everybody loves a comeback. So yeah, we are proud of you that you're back.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Then you also had, like, you were talking about body images on your social media, like you have trouble, you know, with that, which everybody does too at some point. So commend you for, you know, you said, yeah, lost like the weight that you had to lose for your quad injury and everything. And I know that's a whole process too. So yeah, it's really good to see. Like, so congratulations on everything.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let me tell you, when you have kids and they're eating Oreos and you're looking over there at them and you're like borderline tears because you know you want those Oreos, but you can't have those Oreos because you know, yeah, that's miserable.
Yeah, one doesn't turn into one; it turns into like the whole row.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I ate the whole thing. Why?
Oreos are my go-to, man. Those are it.
You think that's bad dieting? When I was in the Navy, I don't know if y'all know, but there's a certain weight standard you're supposed to keep. Like, they tend to, every now and then they tend to measure you and so on. If you don't meet those standards, they put you on a program. It's called FEP, and you're pretty much going to be working out with somebody personally, and you will be running pretty much a lot. And let me tell you, it is hard. Like, those mess halls in the Navy or in the military. Matter of fact, in the military in general, there's something else, because it's pretty much like, most of them are pretty much like a buffet. You can eat as much as you want, but at the same time, it's like, eat as much as you want, but just remember, there's gonna come a time when they're gonna be like, okay, time to do your fitness test, and you got to be up to par with that, or, you know, otherwise, you know, you're pretty much gonna be spending a lot of early mornings running when you could be at home just, you know, sleeping and getting ready for work and so on. So I just gotta ask, how did you become a fan of professional pay-per-view, or the event that you saw that, you know, had you hooked?
Well, before I do that, I just want to say thank you for serving. I'm a military brat myself, and so my dad served 27 years in the Marine Corps, so I totally understand where you're coming from, the rope and chokes, the weigh-ins, all of that, so I respect that for sure. But yeah, as for the show that I met Ryan Davidson on, it was actually my first pro wrestling show. And I didn't have the opportunity to grow up and watch. Oh, I lost him again. But I didn't get the opportunity to watch wrestling growing up. My mother is a God-fearing woman and was very strict about what we watched. It didn't matter if it was TV shows, movies. I remember when Jurassic Park came out, and my mom was adamant. I love dinosaurs, love them. And she was adamant, like, oh no, that's too scary. That's too scary. And so, like, but I could watch all the military movies I wanted to watch. So Top Gun, Broken Arrow, Red October, like I could watch those because those, you know, that's history. But scary or violence, like purpose violence, I couldn't watch that stuff. And I really didn't get the opportunity to watch anything like that until I was much older. You with us?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's a connection here. But yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. So who are some of your favorites that you enjoyed, like growing up, like watching and so on?
So, like, unfortunately, you were unable to join us. I didn't get the opportunity to watch wrestling growing up. I didn't become a fan until I was an adult, uh, and you know, it was my upbringing and all of that. So, but I will be honest. You know, when I started really getting into it and watching old WWE tapes and the different brands, you got Dragon Gate and New Japan and Noah and DDT. Like, I'm a huge Japanese wrestling fan, just FYI. But
Okay.
yeah, honestly, like, one of the very first people, which was very important to me to join the classic, was Scary Sherri. Sherri Martel herself was one of the very first people I was looking at when developing my character, looking into what I want to do, who I want to be. You know, I watched a lot of Lita in China, Molly Holly, you know, the old classics. You know, they're the OGs, man. Just Jazz is a great person to look into as well. And you know, I looked into the men as that's a lot of my moveset is very much a masculine kind of wrestling style, strong style. In submission was what I did when I first broke in. So, you know, I won't lie, Randy Orton, hands down, he is the GOAT.
Yeah, Randy Orton is one of the best and a very complex, you know, competitor in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
The man has never missed a beat. That is 20 years. 20 years. He celebrated, I think last week or the week before last, and he's never missed a beat. He's still like strong, and that's pretty impressive. And I always say, you know, you're pretty much on point at the top. And I've noticed that certain people, you're pretty much on your way to the top. And Randy, you're definitely one of those people that, you know, if you manage to get a victory over him, you're pretty much on your way. So, yeah, definitely one of the greatest of all time. So, the Sherri Martel Classic, what was going through your mind stepping in that ring? Were you nervous? Were you confident? Like, you know, I've been doing this for a number of years. I got this. Like, what was your mindset? Were there like emotions where like you grew up watching this woman, but now you're taking part in an event that is dedicated to her life in professional wrestling, her memory, etc.
I won't lie, man. I get nervous every single time I hit that curtain. I'm no different from anybody else. Honestly, the very first thing I thought when I hit the curtain and I stepped outside, I was like, please don't fall on your face. Please don't fall on your face. Because I was like, this is going to be the day that I fall on my face trying to get down the entrance ramp or something like that. Luckily, that did not happen. The biggest thing was paying tribute to an amazing, not just manager, she was an amazing wrestler as well. And going out there, doing my best. Definitely not, you know, doing what most people expect with your first match back and just completely missing the mark or, you know, failing in some kind of way. I definitely did not want to, you know, let anybody down. There were a lot of people there that were there to support me, to support the show, which I greatly appreciate more than anything. And, you know, I wanted to make sure that I put my best foot forward, not fall on my face, not, I wanted to put on a great performance overall. And so I'm cycling these things through my head. Hey, what could be my next step? What could be the next move? You know, I do film study a lot with my opponents. And so I'm thinking in the back of my mind, hey, what is she going to do next? What is she known for? And, you know, and that's all mental game, like trying to make sure that, you know, I'm going to stay on top of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually jealous of Kathy because I'm like, man, Sherri Martel, she was something in professional wrestling, one of the best to do it. And for you to actually get to take part in it, and for Kathy to actually get to attend it, I'm like, man, that is definitely one heck of a memory that will not go away. I mean, there's gonna be, I'm very sure there's gonna be many more classics, but just that one, and I'm sure that somewhere y'all probably took. I hope y'all took a group picture, and people are gonna look back and like, yeah, that was the first batch, man. Look, that's Sheeva. That's Misty Marks. Look, there's the winner, Promise Braxton. There's Hyan. So yeah.
We did not take a group picture, and we did for the ladies' night out, the very first one that was done. But I don't know how it slipped through the cracks, but we failed to do that.
Awesome. Well, hey, at least I mean, look at it this way. At least it's in the archives. The whole tournament is going to be there for people to look back on and watch. So
Yeah, it's actually posted on YouTube today with Reality of Wrestling. They started at the same time as this podcast.
okay, yeah. So yeah, that's that. I'll definitely make sure to let people know that to check it out, because Sherri was a wonderful, dedicated uh, performer, and I even saw like her match at Survivor Series '87, and I didn't even know she was a wrestler. Like, but then, and this was like me at 11 years old. I was like, she wrestles too, and she's the women's champion. Wow! I was like, and this was like 1994, and I've been watching it since 1990. I'm an old man, and I'm like, she wrestled. I mean, I know she used to interfere. She managed the Macho King and Ted DiBiase and Shawn Michaels, but she wrestled and won. Wow, that I didn't even know that, but that was a definitely cool event. And for those of y'all watching, definitely make sure you check out the Sherri Martel Classic. It's awesome, and trust me, you won't regret watching it. But so, how did your journey go from being a fan to professional wrestler? Like, how did you end up like like doing what you do and so on?
It was one and the same. So the very first bit of wrestling I ever watched, let me back that up. I did watch a snippet. I do remember it was Hulk Hogan, when I lived in Maryland over in Patuxent River. And my mom was very quick to change that channel. But like my very first good taste live wrestling that I ever saw, it was I was brought there by a friend of mine because I was down in the dumps, and she's like, hey, I'm dating this wrestler, you want to come with me? And that was my real first taste into it. And I remember watching, and I looked over at her, and we had just got done with a soccer game. We were both select soccer players, and I went, I can do this. I can, like, I totally want to do this. And she was like, what? I know, I brought you here to watch. I was like, no, like, I'm serious. I really want to do this. And from there, I just engulfed myself. It became part of me overall, watching, learning, studying, being in the ring, learning different things, just listening to people talk about it, was huge. And, I joined the parties, I went to the shows, I went to the after parties, before the shows, listening in the locker room, talking to everybody. It literally went from 0 to 60 in 0.002 seconds. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It was one show. That's all it took. And I was hooked.
That's awesome. So what was your friend's reaction when she saw that you actually had your mat, you were actually doing this in the ring? Was she like, wow? Did she have the whole like expression on her face like, yo, you were so cool, like we were just at the show, and now I'm watching you were right beside me watching the show, and now you're in the ring kicking butt and taking names?
Let me tell you, Melissa is actually one of my closest friends. We've been friends for over 20 years. And she has this really bad habit of bringing a Harry Potter book to every wrestling show to read. She does not care for wrestling at all. And for my first match, she actually put her book down. So that is huge, especially for her. So she applauded me. She is very concerned about me being in the ring, and always has been. But it's more of a, she understands that she won't understand. And, you know, there are things that she loves, like, I don't know if you guys know the K-pop group BTS, but she's like completely infatuated, and I don't understand. So like we have this mutual understanding of she understands what I love, and that's what I'm going to be with, and I understand that she's going to have this infatuated response to a K-pop group and young boys. So you know, anytime I've wrestled, she's always put down that Harry Potter book, which I know is huge for her, and I love her all the same for it.
That's awesome. You actually made your friend would actually read the book, but when it comes to you wrestling, she puts down. That's friendship goals right there. That's real support right there, man. You know.
Yeah, for sure. She's great.
That's really cool. And now you've been doing this for over, I believe, 10 years, correct?
It's actually been longer than that. Back in the olden days, we didn't have cage match, and I'll be honest with you. As much as I appreciate a lot of those websites like Cage Match and such, they're not 100% accurate. They are missing a lot of data, or like they cross reference, and it's crazy. So when I actually started training when I first came around back in 07, late 07, because it took a little bit of time between like around that time frame. PCW was cycling out. They had what was it, XC? Oh, it was something. They ended up going XCF or something, but they ended up becoming more MMA based, and so. You know, there's that. And I ended up going to several different people, different trainers to try and break in. And the final place, you know, where I pulled out of wrestling to polish up, essentially, that was probably the roughest training I had ever had across anything I've ever done, whether it's seminars or even at reality. It was very tough. It was 6 days a week from we got there at 5 p.m. and we didn't close up until midnight, and that's just 90 miles an hour the whole time. And you know, I learned a lot, which I appreciate, but you know, it was rough. There's some stories in there, but overall active in the ring. Even including that time frame, I think we were training probably about 4 months. It's been, doing math, man, I'm so old. About, you know, it was probably, yeah, it was about 11, 12 years, somewhere in there. Yeah. 11 active. So yeah.
Trust me, I know cage match is not the most accurate. I had a woman by the name of Kylan King, who you're probably gonna, if you haven't met her already. That we had her on here, and I called her by one of her old nicknames, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't go by that anymore. I don't do that. It's the king of professional wrestling now." So I was like, okay, thank you, Cage Match, for giving me that awkward moment. I wish y'all would have, like, you know, updated it or something. You know, like help a brother out. You know, I mean, but yeah, luckily she didn't like. It wasn't any bad moniker. It was just like an old moniker that she had that she doesn't use anymore. So yeah, I know Cage Match isn't like the most reliable source, and they tend to like leave stuff out. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
So
it's all good.
yeah, so man, that many years, I tell you, if somebody came into professional wrestling and they asked you, they were like, Sheeva, how do I have as long as career as you? Like, how do I, do it as long, as you have, and so on? What advice would you give that? I mean, I know you had some like, some hiccups, with having to step away. But what if they
Mhm.
want to have a long lasting career in professional wrestling? What advice would you give that person?
Yeah. So even with the hiccups, I was active in wrestling. I did a lot of announcing and commentary. I did a little bit of managing, all of that. So for about 2 years of that 4. But overall, the number one thing I would tell anybody is to take care of your body. You only get one. And you see a lot of these really cool flippity moves and things like that. But if you are a bigger person and you're looking at them and looking at these moves and going, oh, I can do that. Do you really need to? Like, realistically, that if you look at a lot of these guys, they're built a certain way. They have a lower center of gravity. Their hips are lower. Their legs are going to be a little bit shorter. And they'll actually be proportionate from torso to hip and from hip to toe. And that allows them to do all of the cool flips and tricks and things like that. And definitely always invest in good shoes or boots, whatever your preference is. I'm a boot girl myself, always have been. I have worn wrestling shoes. I don't know how people do it, but that's just me. And invest in your knee pads because of those impacts over and over and over again. Good sleeves, whatever. You want to take care of your joints. You want to supplement yourself and definitely get into the gym. You want to be strong. You want to be fit. You do not want to be, hey, I'm going to sit on the couch for 6 months and then go take this booking. No. Get off your butt. Go work out. Go train. I don't care if you've been in for 5 days, 5 months, or 5 years. Everybody needs training. And I'm very adamant about that. Ryan, for example, he's been wrestling for over 17 years and he still trains at least twice a week. So, and it shows.
Oh, that's awesome. So y'all,
Scott,
so for
go
those of
away,
you,
Scott.
hey, what's up, Scott? How you doing?
Hi, Scott. Go away now. Bye.
Hi, Scott.
Scott, I've tried that, but she keeps coming back and she threatens me with violence. I once had somebody accuse me of being a sexist pig because I tried to fire her when I already had a female, another female here on our team, and I still got accused. So yeah, it's not happening, man. Trust me. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, please, by all means, send them my way. But yeah, so for those of y'all that are actually looking to get into professional wrestling, you just got some advice from a pretty much 10 plus year vet. So anything else you want, any other advice you want, you probably gotta, pay her or go to one of her seminars. So, but you got a little something from her tonight. So there you go. But yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good information as well. And I always wonder, like, why is everybody flipping these days? Like, if I were to ever be a professional wrestler, like, I mean, teach your own. I probably wouldn't do as many flips. I'd probably be like, I guess, Kurt Angle, in the vein of Kurt Angle, like where you would bust it out every now and then, but not too much. Just be more technical or so on.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't do as many flips. I mean, that's just scary. And I've seen some accidents happen. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you can only watch somebody break their neck or rope snap or rings literally like completely fold in because something happens to them. Actually a phenomenal guy, for example, Chandler Hopkins had a ring snap on him while he was running the ropes in a match, and luckily he was okay. And the ring happened out of complete out of nowhere, had nothing to do with the promoter, with the ring. Everything was set up the way it should. Accidents happen. And so you got to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I've seen that rope snapping thing, rope snapping situation happen several times. I saw it with Chris Bay. He actually landed.
Mhm.
He actually landed on his neck, and I was like, "Wow!" And he was okay. And then it also happened with a Mad Dog, M Dog, Matt Cross, and he
Mhm.
was move at a live show, and the rope actually snapped. So that's why I respect what y'all do, man. Like I know that it's not easy, and I tell people, if you think it's fake, go in there and do it. Go in there and land wrong and see what happens to you, or go in there and run the ropes improperly and see what will happen to you. You'll probably injure yourself or injure your opponent. So I
You
tip my
know,
hat.
well, I appreciate that. And not to butt in or interject, but there is a thing being in ring shape. And that basically is being able to run those ropes. Because I'll be honest with you, the first few times you run those ropes, you end up with bruises on your back, on your hip, on your, just on your arms too, like making the impact where you're gripping the rope. And you're putting yourself into ring shape. You're conditioning yourself to be able to take those kinds of impacts. And it's not fun. It really is not. So, yeah, I assure you, those things are not fake and they definitely do hurt.
Yeah, definitely. So Rise of the Vixens, you, I don't think did they announce your opponent yet?
They
Yep.
have, yes.
And who are you? Who's going to be the person that's going to feel the wrath of Sheeva?
So, it is going to be Ryan Davidson and I, the grizzled one
Oh,
himself.
sorry about that.
Yes. No, it's all good. See, now you might have a problem with Ryan Davidson, forgetting him.
It was the Wi-Fi. Trust me, it's now getting better, but yeah, it was freezing
Yeah.
on me.
He wasn't there for that part,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
all right.
Well, we've got the grizzled one, the current Wildcat heavyweight champion, the first Grand Slam winner for Reality of Wrestling, plus a resume that's 5 miles long, Ryan Davidson and myself, and we are going against Jay Alexander and Promise Braxton.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have that match coming up, and as Jim Ross said, it's going to be a barn burn. I know Kathy's going to be, at the edge of her seat watching that. So after that, now, who, and I always ask, a lot of wrestlers this. I mean, you've been in the game for 10 plus years, but I'm sure you have, your list of who you want to face. Who are your top 5 after you're done? You guys are done, dealing with Promise Braxton and Jay Alexander, and you're done dealing with T Ray and Edge Stone. Who else is on your top 5 that you actually want to wrestle in the near future?
I actually have a very extensive list when it comes to who I want to be in the ring with. Mine is a very unique list because it is intergender. I do both. A lot of people don't necessarily agree. Some people do agree. And that is a personal preference. For me personally, it makes my life not necessarily easier, but it makes more sense overall because if you guys have seen Jay Alexander, what you cannot tell from a flyer is that he and I are the exact same size. We're the same weight. We are the same everything. The only difference is he's got more bicep. I've got more quad. That's literally it. And so, when we hit nose to nose and that sort of scenario, it only makes sense. But as for overall opponents, the go-to people that I really do look forward to being in the ring with in the near future, Rachel Rose. As you know, we were in that triple threat with the Sherri Martel Classic, both her and Hyon. Having the opportunity to work Hyon now versus Hyon that was 4 years ago, I think that I would definitely have a challenge ahead of me. And I'm a person that doesn't turn away from a challenge. She's phenomenal overall, and I do believe that would be a banger. The same with Rachel Rose for sure. As you could see, if anybody was able to catch it up, Reality Wrestling is currently on the CW, and if you're in the Houston area, if you were able to catch that on the CW, Rachel Rose and I are nose to nose. Though she might be a little bit of a smaller girl overall in frame. Sure, she's no joke. But as for the other three, I will be honest. There are several other individuals, some that I do know that I have a future match with, so I'm not going to announce those. I do look for an opportunity to possibly face my significant other, only for the fact that it is legal to punch each other in the face and, just go about from there. As for that, there are several larger names, of course, that I'd look forward to. I already expressed that Holly Dudd would definitely be one of my select opponents that I would choose from Mission Pro. But overall, we would be here all day. I'm not even going to lie. But some I can't announce. I'll give you the three. Definitely would look forward to being in there with Hyon and Rachel once again. You know what? Actually, let me back that up. I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to check out Miss Gigi, but that would be a good setup as well.
Gigi Ray?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely heard of her, and we're hoping to have her on the show real soon. And I'm gonna make sure I have my earplugs in when I announce to Kathy, because I know she's gonna scream at the top of her lungs, almost
I don't blame her.
So yeah.
Love GG.
Yeah, so yeah, she we've definitely been tracking on her and many other people. I gotta say, Texas, man, y'all got it on lock, man. Like real talk. Like, I'm over here in New York. New York's a pretty good scene, but it's just something about the Texas wrestling scene. There's just so many interesting people, and it's just, man, one of these days I'm definitely gonna make a show there. I'm definitely gonna make it. I now see why Kathy travels all those hours, 5-6 hours from where she's at in Louisiana, Texas, to see y'all, because y'all are just amazing. But
well, don't underestimate the size of Texas, because that's my drive as well. I actually live in the DFW Metroplex, so going down to Houston is about a 4.5 hour drive. So I feel you, Kathy.
It's all worth it, though. I love you guys. It's worth the drive.
So I just got one last question before we shut it down. And when you're getting ready for your matches, or you're in the gym working out, getting ready to knock out some reps, or do some cardio and whatnot, what are some songs that put you in that zone to knock out those reps, knock out that cardio, or to get you in the zone, or to get you in the mindset to face your opponent?
So it really honestly depends on my mood. I do have one song that has been on my playlist for both working out and prep for wrestling, whether it's warm-ups for training or pre-match, post-match. I'll have to actually look it up, what the title is. I do apologize. I really fight at names. But really depends on my mood. Sometimes I am a hip hop girl and I just want to jam away, and I will look like some weirdo dancing at the leg press. And then sometimes it's heavy metal. And I'm ready to grunt and scream and sweat and whatnot. But actually, I hope it doesn't disconnect me, but let me take a look.
Okay. Let's see. While we're waiting for her to come back, Remy, you're fired, Kathy. Scott,
Scott.
be nice. Be nice, or I'll make sure Jacob, Haley, and Emily take your job. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, don't start. Bobby Petito, nice kid. Yeah, Bobby, that's a pretty interesting match.
That
Bobby,
would be pretty fire.
Bobby, you are welcome to be on our show whenever you want, man. We have 50 minutes of fandom. There's a 50 minutes of fandom slot waiting for you. Definitely hit us up. We definitely like to hear from you. But with that being said, while we're waiting for Sheeva to return, make sure you check out Rise of the Vixens if you're in Texas, or even if you have a title match subscription. Check out Rise of the Vixens 3 on uh, was it Saturday 28th, May 28th.
Yeah.
Y'all definitely make sure you check it out. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna check it out as well. And we're also actually, sponsoring, as Bobby mentioned, Kiting King. So, they put on a great product. Definitely make sure you show your support. Trust me, 90. I keep telling y'all, 95% of your AEW and WWE superstars, that's where they come from. It's the Indies. So support indie wrestling. Sheeva, welcome back.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, in case it hasn't been mentioned, it is my understanding that the Rise of the Vixens show that will be on the 28th will also be streamed live through titlematchwrestling.com.
Yeah, so for those of y'all that can't make it there, you also have an alternative. You can sit at home, because I know everybody's not going to be able to make it to Texas. I mean, let's be honest. Some of y'all live in Louisiana, and you don't have the dedication that Kathy has to go there, do all those hours, or you just some of y'all,
Carpool, man.
you're all the way, like, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's some people that are like, I'm not going all the way over there, but if you can't make it to the actual show, just check it out on Title Match. That's another way you can support as well. So yeah. So were you able to find it, Sheeva, or was it like
Stand Up by Papa Roach is on every single one of my playlists.
okay, cool.
It's got a very unique kind of like hype to it.
Cool. Papa Roach. What's the song? Last Resort. That's the song I remember. Song I remember by them. I've never worked out to it, but I've heard it's a pretty good jam. And then I think they also sang Tear Myself Open. I tear my heart open. I sew myself shut.
Shut.
Right? Yep.
I'm just gonna look down because I'm really horrible with names and titles and things like that. So I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah, a song that I always have to have on my playlist. I don't know if you've ever heard this song. My playlist has actually changed for over, like, it's changed several times over the years. But a song I always have to have is "Broken Down" by Seven Dust. It's a very good song to listen to. I always got to work out to that song, but that's a song I always have to have. "Broken Down" by Seven Dust.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I would recommend anybody that wants a good rock song. I would definitely recommend that.
Right on.
So that is. So with that being said, I just gotta say, Sheeva, thank you very much. I'm not gonna hold you up anymore. I know you got things to do, plans to make, people to beat up and whatnot, to unleash that beautiful brutality on. But I just gotta say once again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. We apologize. I apologize for the connection on my end. Like I said, I normally don't, broadcast from here, but different area. But also, thank you for the matches and memories that you've given us over the years and that you continue to give us. And hopefully, I can actually catch a show that you're on, that you and Ryan are on as well, one of these days as well. I know Ryan's been in for a long time as well. I remember when I first started watching Raw back in 2013, he was actually on it at the time. And yeah, he's still going strong to this day. So, thank y'all for all that y'all do and continue to do as well. And before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearances, and also purchase Sheeva merchandise? And where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
So my stuff's pretty basic, pretty simple. It's at official Sheeva. My email is officialsheeva@gmail.com. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I do have a YouTube channel. I don't have anything posted as of yet. As for merchandise, I do not have anything web-based as of right now. If that's something that people are interested in, I have no issues going ahead and putting that together. But I do have t-shirts. I have 8x10s, I have koozies, I have pins, I have all sorts of fun jazz that are available at every show that I attend. So if you're able to check me out live, awesome. If you can't, not a big deal. If there's something that you are interested in, you can always hit me up on one of those social media platforms. I'm always available. I answer everybody. It's not a big deal. And yeah, so it's at official Sheeva, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email, hit me up at officialsheeva@gmail.com.
Awesome. So y'all heard, she's on social media. Make sure you get her follow. Merch available at the show. Make sure you keep them merchandise. If make sure that's how you support indie wrestling. Going to the shows, nice as well. And look at it this way: when she gets signed to WWE or AEW or Impact, and somebody's like, "Yo, I got this shirt from the online shop on WWE or AEW or Impact," and they're showing off, and you could be like, whatever, man. I got her shirt from when she was on the Indies, man. It's me with that, man. Kathy with the little pull up right there. But yeah, man, it's always a great feeling, to actually do that, to show that support indie wrestling. Wrestling. It's a great feeling. And with that being said, it's about time to shut this show down. My eyes are getting heavy. Stomach is. It's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order. But before I partake in those activities, Kathy Knight, the Lauryn Hill to my Wyclef Jean, my sister from another mister. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, all things Becky Lynch and Paige, all that good stuff?
So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome. Make sure you follow her on YouTube. She does great stuff on YouTube. Like, she's a very talented woman. But if you want to follow me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky and hear me say something cool. You can find me on Twitter at TheRemyBlue, Instagram at TheRemyBlue. I'm also on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. And our podcast is also on social media as well. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We have a Facebook group under the name Ringside Society. We're on Spotify, Blog Talk Radio, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find a lot of cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with Katie Hebner, Insidious Sid Mars, Izzy, and many other people as well. So make sure you follow us on YouTube. All you gotta do is go on there, type in Ringside Society. You'll see that sweet OMG dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos, because you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, once again, we just want to thank everybody tuning in tonight live. We really and truly appreciate it. We try our best to bring you some of the best content that a wrestling fan can watch and listen to. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Kathy Knight at Cafe Du Monde on the buy one get one free special, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us. Taking over Rob's stuff. I'm sorry, Rob.
It's so weird. But with that being said,
you, Rob.
we just want to let everybody know that we're very well.
Oh no.
Losing him.
You scared him.
Yeah, that darn Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm sure he's using it as an excuse. He didn't want to be.
Oh, he's popping up again. There we go.
That means it's time for us to be done. But with that being said, once again, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag, we are not the same, and we mean it when we say it. Hey, yo, Kath, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the woman who is a diamond in a rhinestone world. Beautiful Brutality Sheeva.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
The Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we will be back next week with another impressive guest on another impressive episode. But until then, we just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. That's right, just 4. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
Bye.